Okay, here's interestingly, we talked about it already, but Elon Musk Neuralink has FDA approval, so the Food and Drug Administration, to put chips in humans' brains. Ooh. So Neuralink has gained approval from the Food and Drug Administration to begin trials to implant brain chips into humans. So listen, Elon Musk, SpaceX recently launched the biggest and most powerful rocket into flight, even though it didn't make it to orbit. But the world's richest man isn't content on expanding in sci-fi inspired technology into just the cosmos. Neuralink, the tech startup co-founded by Musk, also wants to embark on a fantastic voyage into the brain. 2 weeks ago, the company announced that it had gained approval from the Food and Drug and from the FDA to begin trials to implant brain chips into humans. It will likely be years before many patients get the Neuralink treatment, but it isn't stopping investors. So everybody's about it, blah, 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 blah. What does the Neuralink brain chip actually do? Neuralink goal is, with its human trials, is to eventually enable a person with paralysis to use a computer or a phone with their brain activity alone. The Neuralink 1 implant actually includes multiple chips, a wireless battery, and other electronics hermetically sealed within a device about the size of a large coin. So that's how it looks like. Several dozen ultra-thin threads protrude from the implant. Those go directly into the brain. Signals from the implant are sent via Bluetooth to and decoded by a brain-computer interface. Which should allow a person to, for instance, control a screen cursor or move a robotic arm or leg or whatever. The first thing that we're going after is a wireless implanted chip that would enable someone who is, for example, tetraplegic or quadriplegic to control a computer, a mouse, or their phone, or anything, just by thinking. This obviously would be a massive enabler, make life way easier for them. That's true. It's like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires that go to your brain. Beyond helping paralyzed patients regain some mobility and communicate without typing, Neuralink longer-term goals include helping to restore full mobility and sight. How is the Neuralink inserted into the body? So it has a surgical robot especially designed to embed the implant in its 64 ultra-thin flexible connected threads, upon which there are 1,024 electrodes that record the neural activity. The robot has 5 built-in camera systems and use optical coherence tomography for non-invasive imaging of the brain tissue. The robot uses a needle as thin as the human hair, which inserts the thread exactly where they need to be. Wow. Yo, that's crazy. Okay, quickie, okay, blah, 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 blah. Yo, listen. Here we are, Ghost in the Shell. I find it very interesting. I don't know what you think. Master Electronic, I know you ready to get your implant. So from the test they did with monkeys and pigs, they can start to understand how to talk to the brain and how to do input output, meaning that listen, if you're paralyzed of all your members and you can just talk. Let's say you can just talk, or you completely paralyzed. Spine is cut, and somebody tells you, listen, you here in your bed, you're gonna just stay like this forever. There's no way to reconnect you to XYZ. But we have a way to connect you to, let's say, just the chair you're using, right? And to give you the information, and you can control your chair. And maybe your arm, or maybe just robotic arms, right? And you can control all of it just with your brain, the way you control your arms, just like that. I'm doing this. It's a brain signal that goes and control these, right? If you lost all complete mobility, listen, if you just lost the control of your legs, and somebody tells you, listen, we have these robots that we can put you, or this exoskeleton, or a special chair, but you don't have to like do this or have a joystick. You can just become more or less cyborg, but we don't need to operate you. We just need to put this thing in your brain, and with this thing you can control this chair. And when you want to move, you think about moving, and it moves. Listen, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, yeah, I want to try. So that's phase one. Phase two is, from what I remember from his presentation, they want to be able to not only do output, which is you giving orders to a chair, to a robotic arm, maybe a whole robotic body. But phase two is the possibility to also do input, meaning, let's say, once it's been 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years of this, and they keep trying and trying on thousands of people, maybe they can start having a programming language, and they can understand the programming language of the brain, meaning that they could maybe, teach you a language just from that, plug you, and then send you the information on how to speak Russian, for example. And after, like, I don't know, a month of getting the data, or a week, or depending on each model, maybe at a point, it's easier. It becomes easy to learn new things. Learn to fly a jet, learn to XYZ. And the possibility are endless, because if you add this with what Apple just has introduced, if you can control a drone and see in your eyes what the drone sees without moving, and just controlling by thought, we're getting into a new territory that might scare a lot of people, but that might be exciting to some others like me. But then you have the hackers, the scammers, because trust me, they're going to use that technology to do bad things. And for those who don't know Ghost in the Shell, which is one of my favorite mangas ever, there's one guy who is a terrorist in the movie, and once he get caught, the guy doesn't remember nothing. Doesn't remember his name. Doesn't remember. He says that he has kids, but he doesn't. Completely, like, his whole personality has been changed. And then they realize that the guy has been hacked. Because, listen, once you are connected to a network through your brain, if you have 1,000 people who decide that they want to be all interconnected and become a super intelligence, or they faith become whoever becomes a super whatever. So who prevents me from stealing your information and hacking into your brain if your brain become hackable? When you go somewhere, who prevents people from stealing information that is stored in your mind? Or even worse, putting information into your mind and hacking. That becomes very interesting. So I believe that once we go into that territory, of course, it's going to be years before they perfect the in and out and the bandwidth, right, of how much information they can store in somebody's head. But now imagine if they can get what is in somebody's head, right? How long until you can transfer consciousness and everything that is in one brain into somebody else or into an empty body? So listen, you're born in a male body, you feel like a woman, and now you really have a real solution. You don't need to go through operation and all these things. You can just buy a woman body and then transfer your consciousness to that body. Or listen, you here like me in my perfect body, but you want one that is even better. Listen, let's say I want my skin to be a little darker, but I want green eyes, and I want my eyes to have 2 times the perfect view. And I want like some screens in my eyes where I can get information about my notes that I can control for the brain. And I don't know, I want to be able to breathe better, to have a perfect digestive system. XYZ, you want to change the things. Instead of this body that you have, you can get a body with the same face and maybe a slightly better with whatever feature you like. Or listen, I like to cut my hair. I want one with no hair at all. Once you get the body you like and you have the money to buy it, you can just send your consciousness there. And transfer takes download, backup, then upload, backup, then download. But then, listen, our African presidents who like to stay in power forever, they can stay in power forever now. Because once you get 80, you just get to a new body. Yo, that's where we're going. So you're going to have people who will, listen, you're going to have people who are religious that will say, yo, no. That body is not alive. Because some people might decide, hey, listen, I just want to be uploaded and I'm going to stay there for 10 years and come back. You know, I don't want to be in my body. I want to be downloaded into a machine. I want to be downloaded, or I want to be uploaded inside of the AI. I want to be part of the AI. Because at the same time as these things are happening, you also have AI that is becoming more and more and more intelligent but still not sentient. How you say? Still not conscious. But they say that in 5 years, AI will be more intelligent than humans. 5 years. Now, more intelligent doesn't mean conscious. More intelligent means that you can tell him, hey, do my groceries for me. And you know what I want. You know what I need already, right? And imagine you have a AI house that knows exactly what's in the fridge, what's in your groceries, that know exactly how many bottles you have because your whole house is connected and etc. And you tell the AI, hey, do the groceries. And you don't even need to say it like, hey Siri, whatever. No, you don't need to do this. You just think in your head, do the groceries. And maybe you have something maybe you have glasses like this. And we're going to talk about this now. Maybe you have glasses like this with information that says, yeah, okay, got it. And now your AI is smart enough to know what's in the fridge, what's in here, how many bottles of things are left, how many product of such and such, how many toilet papers you have, how many you need, and then directly talk to the AI in the store. AI in the store prepares everything of what you need, sends the information to your own AI, your own assistant of how much is it. Maybe you get a confirmation, or maybe yours have a bypass because for this, they know already how much they can spend per month, and payment is done directly through your bank AI. And then after 10 minutes or 5 minutes, a drone or maybe somebody from delivery just rings at your door with all your stuff. And if you can be connected to the internet, that's a possible future. Because when I grew up, when I arrived in Portugal, I don't need to go that far. When I arrived in Portugal 10 years ago, when I would go to Continent, which is where we do our groceries, and I would buy my water, my this, my that for the week, I would have to walk 800 meters from Vasco da Gama shopping to my house here. And I would, and then I discovered that I can do all that on the internet. I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe that's when I start. The first time I ordered from the internet, where you just go to the website and listen, it already knows what I order all the time. So when I write for you, it shows me the stuff I already ordered. This is AI. And the algorithm already knows the things I already buy. I always buy. They already know my favorite brands. And I have my thing, favorite stuff. I select everything I want. I click, I pay. I don't have to put credit cards. They already have my information, my PayPal, whatever. Once all this is done, after usually 24 hours, I receive all my stuff. So once you have a chip connected where people can download and upload information from and to, there's a lot of possible futures. But there's also the possibility of mind control. There's also the possibility of turning people into terrorists. There's also the possibility of removing information from people. Imagine if the whole world is connected to a chip in their brain, and everybody's connected to the internet from that chip. So everybody has now cyber brains, and you can have certain models, and maybe richer people have a rich version, and the rest of us have maybe a normal version, and then the poor people have some hacked versions. But imagine if a government can just erase something from collective memories, or erase a sentiment, or can monitor sentiment. Imagine if a government can monitor your anger against the government and deem you dangerous for society because the sentiment in your household is strange. And boom, police raid your door. You are planning to do some bad thing. Jail. What? But I didn't. No. We know what you think. And what if the government can download stuff to everybody's brain? Listen, it starts with we downloading you some information. We're downloading you some information about everything you know, about your civic duties, your this, the that, all the information you need as a citizen of this city, and everybody gets a download weekly with XYZ. So if this download gets corrupted by somebody that is inside of the government but has some nefarious activities and is just trying to turn everybody into whatever, and then they hide some bad information inside of the weekly download of everybody, and all of a sudden everybody is crazy, or all of a sudden everybody is angry about something specific, or all of a sudden everybody go to the top of a building and they jump. That's where yo, hey, we playing, oh, we playing, oh. Listen, it's at the same time it's very interesting, and at the same time, like, everybody it just becomes who's gonna use it and how. And if Elon is doing it, probably somebody out there in Russia is doing it, somebody in China is doing it, somebody in India is trying. Like, there's probably some other companies that are thinking about the same tools and how they're going to use it, and what's going to be the ethic, what's going to be the non-ethic. Now listen, if you are paralyzed and somebody told you that you will never walk again, and somebody tells you, listen, put this in your head and you might use some legs that you can control from there, and we're gonna cut your legs, but we're gonna replace them with some synthetic legs, and with those legs you're gonna be able to control them from your brain directly, just like normal legs. And then you can walk again. Listen, anybody that can't walk will say, oof, I'm in. Nothing to lose. Now, at a point, you can go from normal legs to legs with wheels, or you can control your car like this. Like, it all depends. That's very interesting. And listen, if you didn't see Ghost in the Shell, I urge everybody to go see Ghost in the Shell. This is the best manga to ever see the face of the earth, and it's in Japan, far in the future, when and in that Japan everybody's connected, and the cities like this, you have like everybody has prosthetics, fake eyes, everybody gets new limbs, new this, new that, and it's an amazing so you have the movie, of course, and you also have the manga. I like both. I've seen both, and let me see if I can find the Ghost in the Shell manga. there it is. This is one of the best mangas ever. I think I'm gonna watch this after this show. And it's everybody has, you see, everybody now, instead of having a normal hand that turn there, if you work for these things, you just have hands that can turn into 30 fingers. You can be connected like this, connect yourself to the internet. This guy is saying that, I remember this guy, that's the guy who was a terrorist, but he doesn't even remember anything. This is the head of Section 9. This is a guy who's completely connected to the internet. Then you have people that are connected to the AI and that are just listen, this is an amazing manga that everybody has to see. And listen, ever since I saw Ghost in the Shell like 20 years ago or more, I dreamed of living in that world. And yeah, we're almost there. That's crazy. Yo. What do you guys think? Oh my God, I have to go to sleep. Tomé, what up? La perfection est la clé de la réussite. Ah bon? No one dies. Yeah, listen. If you give this to our African leaders and they can just jump from one body to the next, listen, you have your whole life to have and you already have your clone that is ready, maybe at 20 years old. Once you reach 40, you jump to your next clone, transfer your body, destroy that one, and you all new. And maybe your new body always has like enhancements, and maybe you can smoke without ever having lung problems, etc., etc. If you didn't see the series from Netflix called The Sleeves, that's exactly what happens in The Sleeves. It's let me see. Do I have The Sleeves? Netflix. Is it The Sleeves? Oh no, it's Altered Carbon. Stupid. If you didn't see Altered Carbon, that's exactly what is Altered Carbon about. It's everybody has this in their body. Everybody has it's not a drive, but everybody can just be put into new bodies, and the whole consciousness can be turned from one person to another one. So you buy a new body and you enter a body. And I'm gonna watch that series all over again too. That's a crazy series, and people live forever. And so you have some people who are alive you have some people that have been alive for 2 centuries already, and because it's some people have been alive for 1,000 years, so they're richer than rich. And so this guy, for example, so he's in a new body where so all your brain is here, all your brain in this thing that they just put in any body. So and then once you are in the new body, boom, you start breathing in your new body, and that's it. And people live in a world where, and it's interesting, in The Sleeves, the people who are religious become terrorists because they want to believe in death. They believe that life has to go with death. But the people who just don't want to die are just going from sleeve to sleeve. And some terrorist group believe that everybody's living in a heresy and nobody's alive anymore. And then you have some people that are crazy because they have been re-sleeving in too many bodies. And so the law is that, for example, since your brain can be uploaded and downloaded in another body, the law is that you cannot have, for example, your brain downloaded in two bodies and become twins and become two versions of yourself, because then it makes no sense. Who's the original one, right? Because now you have two versions of yourself. Who's the consciousness? But both are conscious. Crazy. So there's a law. If you are caught having two bodies, one have to die. And you go, and now there's no more prisons anymore. Instead of putting you in prison, let's say you have 200 years of prison, they just remove your stack from that sleeve and they just put it in ice. So you will just be able to come back in 200 years and see what happened. So that's crazy, because, and people can go from a woman body, a X body, XYZ, nobody cares anymore. So yeah, listen, those series are amazing. I recommend watching The Sleeves. I recommend watching Altered Carbon. Season 1 is amazing. Season 2 a little less. I prefer season 1. Ghost in the Shell, the movie, and the 2 mangas, but especially the 2 mangas. And Ghost in the Shell standalone complex is amazing as well. All these concepts are being discussed at length 20 years ago. But now we're here. We're in the beginning of that. So yeah,